Almost 1 in 3 American women will have an abortion at some point in their lives. But even though the Supreme Court made it legal in 1973, states have been having a party with restrictions since then, testing the limits of federal law. States usually allow abortions when life-threatening health issues are involved or in cases of rape or incest. But otherwise, there are a lot of obstacles. Here are some of the biggest ones women face when it comes to getting an abortion as a matter of personal choice. Obstacle number 1, age. If you're under 18, lots of states require that a parent gets notified if you want an abortion, and some require that a parent gives their consent. In 8 states, mom or dad even has to provide a written letter of consent that's been notarized. Going further, several states require that both parents get notified or give consent. But young women who don't want to tell their rents don't have to in these states. Obstacle 2, time. Legally, even just a week can make a huge difference. 18 states ban abortion past somewhere between 20 and 26 weeks of pregnancy, which is measured from the date of your last period. Abortions before 13 weeks, the first trimester, are the most common and the least restricted. And abortions past 26 weeks in the third trimester are extremely rare. There are only 4 known doctors in the country who perform them. Obstacle 3, money. The average cost of a first trimester abortion nationwide is $451, but it can range between $300 and $950. If you have private insurance, there's a chance it could cover the procedure. We talked to Dr. Alina Salganikoff, Director of Women's Health Policy for the Kaiser Family Foundation. And she said that many states actually force private insurers not to cover abortion, and the best way to find out if your policy does is to ask. On the other hand, women who have Medicaid are covered for an abortion in these 16 states. Elsewhere, some states not only ban Medicaid and private insurers from covering it, they also force Obamacare insurers not to cover abortions either. But there are some other ways to pay. Salganikoff said many clinics offer help on a case-by-case basis, and she also mentioned the National Network of Abortion Funds, which helps foot the bill for women who can't afford it. Obstacle 4, finding a clinic or doctor. It could be pretty tough to find a clinic if you live in one of these states. Each state has only 3 abortion providers or less. Elizabeth Nash, who works at the Guttmacher Institute, which collects abortion data, says one of the best resources for finding clinics is the National Abortion Federation hotline. They have a comprehensive list of all abortion providers in the country. Obstacle 5, waiting and getting a talking to. In several states, women have to visit a clinic twice. The first time so they can get a lecture, the second time for the actual abortion. In 26 states, women are also required to review state-prepared materials on abortion that may or may not be all that factual, like in Indiana, where a woman is told that the fetus can feel pain before 22 weeks. Women may even be referred to so-called crisis pregnancy centers designed to convince them not to get an abortion. And finally, in 13 states, women need to get an ultrasound before the actual procedure, and in 3 of those states, women are required to look at the image. As you've probably gathered at this point, it's complicated and confusing, often by design. But broadly speaking, it's hardest to get an abortion in Texas, Mississippi, North Dakota, and South Dakota. Who makes it easiest? California, New York, and Washington State. Even just getting the facts on abortion in the U.S. can be an uphill battle, but the more knowledge you have about the laws in your states, the better.
Hello, everybody. I'm just kidding. I was patting my afro for those of you guys who can see me. It is me, Demetra K, and I'm sitting here with Donovan. His heart don't pump no Kool-Aid. Sadiq. I'm gonna change his name. Donovan don't want no roaching Sadiq.
That's it, no roaching.
We'll have to explain the term roaching to you.
I invented it.
It's his term. We're going to get a trademark and all that, so don't steal it because we said it on the show a couple months ago. No roaching Sadiq.
That's right.
And we are on the second hour of Don't Believe the Hype, where we ask you to go beneath the surface of all the things that you heard and you read and just to make sure it's true for yourself, because especially if you're on social media, you see people put up memes and stuff, and we, not me, but Donovan, he reposts stuff like it's true. Like some aliens came down here, snatched off black women's lace fronts, and then he'll post it like it was the truth. And
absolutely.
then,
I mean, that graduation I went through, I saw a bunch of aliens.
Right,
in there.
so that's the kind of stuff. He'll make a meme talking about there was some aliens at my son's graduation, and do your research. That's all I'm saying.
Do your research.
On this very fine, nice what is 65 degrees
67 degrees,
here
they
in
say high.
California,
Yeah,
Southern California.
Wait, in the middle of
Almost June.
almost June. Yeah, I'm at the
Like
end of
we'd have
May.
been in some, I'd have been in some Dukes, some Daisy Dukes right now.
Unusual. In the last 7
Yeah.
years, it's always been blazing hot by this time of day.
And I'm just kidding. I wouldn't have been in no Daisy Dukes. But anyway,
Back
so
in the day, you would have.
like back
Back in the day.
shit a year ago. I'm just kidding. But anyway, so it is Tuesday, May 21st. And so we're going to talk about the taboo discussion of abortion. What do they say?
You sure you want to go ahead? You sure you want to go ahead?
I do. I didn't at first, but I do. What do they say? There's certain things you don't talk about.
That's right.
religion, abortion, and
Oprah and
Barack
Obama.
and Beyonce,
Yeah,
right?
Beyonce, right.
We throw them in there. So abortion is one of those topics that they say is taboo. But as you guys know, it's on the menu. Well, abortion is never really, a topic of abortion has never really gone away. It's kind of always been there. But now it's really out in front of us in 2019 because as of lately, a lot of our legislators, senators, and states and whatever, governors and things like that. State senators, they have, and the governors, have signed into law what they call a near abortion ban. In that, so especially somewhere like Alabama, because I know Louisiana's on the
books right now.
They're on the books to do it. Missouri has done it, but Alabama has one. It's called a near abortion law, whereas a near abortion ban rather. Near complete. I'm jacking it up, but basically, only way you can get an abortion is if it's through rape, incest, or if the woman's life is in danger. Anything else is considered a crime. Right now, if the doctors render services for abortion to a patient, the doctors could face up to 99 years in prison. All right. And so this is considered one of the harshest abortion bans, if you will, on the books. Now, so a lot of people are arguing against it, as you've seen. Maybe Hollywood, not maybe, but Hollywood people have said that they will not do production there. They're going to withhold money, and people should boycott. It's Georgia, Alabama, it's a few states rather, but boycott those places until they reverse the ban on abortion, because the argument is pro-choice. Women should have the right to choose. As it is, they're saying, put a picture up. You guys have probably seen it, of all the white men who it's all white men rather, who have made the decision of what a woman should be able to do with her body.
But let me cut you off real quick. Isn't that funny? Okay, all the men, you guys, I got to play the man role because I'm a real man. They put all the blame on the men, but who signed the bill?
In Alabama, the governors, female governors, signed it into law. There's a lot of women who are pro-life. That pro-life meaning that they are against abortion. Pro-choice is for a woman's right to choose abortion. And so that is in direct opposition. Those laws that have been passed recently are in direct opposition to the Roe v. Wade case that actually ruled that is unconstitutional to say that a woman doesn't have the right to choose over a body. It goes within the 14th Amendment in saying that a woman, that has something to do with personal privacy or something like that. And so it went against it. And so a lot of people are arguing that when, or if I should say, it goes to the Supreme Court, the justices, these laws will probably be overturned because it is considered to be unconstitutional. At first, though, these laws have to go to the circuit court, which is a more local court before it gets to the big court. And then they'll appeal it, and they'll go to the big court. Right. So a lot of people are saying it probably won't get there, but if it does, they'll probably get overturned because, you have the precedence of Roe v. Wade. All right. But so as it stands, these laws are now on the books, and the one in Alabama especially will take place in 6 months. So I guess they're saying if you're going to go get your abortion, you do it in 6 months.
And the funny thing about the Alabama law is they're saying that the woman has to know she's pregnant or something, and a lot of women don't know they're pregnant.
Well, that's the thing. The thing is, you have to, as a woman, you have to get the abortions between 6 and 8 weeks. If you try to get it after the 8 weeks or 6 weeks, however long they deem necessary, then it's considered illegal and against the law, and then these doctors can go to jail. But to your point, a lot of women say they don't know up to 6 to 8 weeks. But I'm gonna tell you this as a woman. When I was pregnant with my daughter, goddamn it, I knew.
Right. Well,
I mean, I'm just saying, because listen, I'm not saying every woman's body is the same, because it's not. You know, some women's bodies are different. Right. So let's just concede that point.
Well, let's concede that point, because a lot of these women don't even know who the baby daddy is.
You know what?
I'm just going to throw that out. It's a serious thing. But before we continue on, I want to say hello to our roving expert out there. That's my girl, Tay. Tay is out there listening somewhere. I know she is. I didn't get the notice, but I know she's out there. So Tay, chime in when you need to chime in. Just to the text.
And I'm sorry, you guys, on the podcast, if for whatever reason we don't get your messages, I apologize. Something we're still working on. But anyway, so there's an argument. Well, how am I supposed to even know if I'm pregnant in 6 weeks? Like I said, I knew. You know, I knew after a couple of days, like, okay, Mother Nature.
It ain't happening. Well, Deanna's always been a stubborn girl.
You late, you know, whatever. So anyway, so there's that argument. And so, as I said, a lot of people have been up in arms about it, saying it's not right, and this, that, and the other. You can't take away a woman's choice, this, that, blah, blah. And I mean, I agree to a certain extent, but for me, just being a black person, a black woman, I think of the larger picture, okay? So you have these white men, as people say, making decisions for people, these women rather, to not be able to have abortion. They want, you know, to criminalize you for whatever, for having an abortion. But I see it as a fight for white survival. That's, to me, there's like, what else could it be? White men are trying to stay in the majority. That's why you have this thing, well, it's a false idea rather, of white supremacy. In order for you to stay supreme in your own mind, or to be the majority, you have to be what? You have to be the majority of people here. And so we know that in a couple of years, was it 2050 or even close to that, the planet is supposed to be predominantly, or the United States rather, predominantly brown.
Right. The
and
browning
so
of America.
If, you know, white women, because that's who they're really concerned about, because we know that predominantly the eugenics program was to eradicate and exterminate black people. White women, as somebody said earlier, and I thought it was kind of crazy, are forced to be reproductive slaves. Not my words. This is what they said. Then they're going to have these kids, which makes their population continue to grow. As of now, the birth rate is very low for everybody, especially white people. It's very low. People aren't having the children that they used to for whatever reason. And so this is their way of trying to stay here. And so then my mind goes to the other side of the argument. It's like, okay, as black people, why don't we understand what that means for us? You know, we've been struggling with population since the 1960s. We kind of not really gone anywhere.
Yeah, we've been steady at 13%.
We've been steady, and that's a whole host of things. Like I said, I left my notes at home, but I can remember some of them. One of it is abortion. Then you have the incarceration rate. You have the homicide rate. Homosexuality is a thing, whether you want to believe it or not. There's a whole lot of things working against black people. And so it kind of baffles me that people don't understand that. You know, we're like, why are we fighting? Like, white people are fighting to stay here, and black people are fighting to leave here. If that makes any sense. You know, I guess, I mean, I'm not saying a woman shouldn't have the right to choose her own body. I'm a woman. I wouldn't want nobody telling me what to do. But so then a lot of people, this is the other argument that people have thrown out. I did a lot of research on this. People throwing out, well, you know, it's not right if a woman is raped or, you know, it's incest, she shouldn't have to keep her rapist baby. And I agree with that.
I agree.
But the people are overstating this, because all the research that I've seen says that, like, one researcher saw, it says the women that abort due to rape is like 0.05%.
Okay.
Florida, they reported like 0.001% of women actually aborting due to rape. Now, on the other side of things, women predominantly abort because they just weren't ready to become a mom at the time. Financial reasons was one, or they were unwed. So it wasn't like, because you hear that argument, well, what about when a woman is raped? Yeah, that's to me, that's a no-brainer. But that's almost rare. If you look at the larger scheme of the numbers, it's almost rare.
Right.
And so people are running away with this emotional argument to justify, you know, women, and I hate to say it, but a lot of women, not all, but a lot of women are using it. Abortion is birth control,
especially in the Black community.
Yeah. Well, and statistically speaking, disproportionately, Black women have more abortions than anybody. I say disproportionately because
per the population, because we are roughly 14% of the population. White women are close to 60% of the population, and so we're at about 36%, both white women and Black women. Right. So if we're at 36% and they're more than triple us in the population, right. But we're having the same amount of abortions as them, disproportionately we're having more. Right.
Okay, end of the story. And so, I mean, like I said, I get it. You're not, so to your point, yes, I guess you can say that Black women are having more abortions due to maybe using it for birth control. I mean, it's just a fact. It is. And I know some people will disagree with what I'm saying, but it is being used. So then you have the other argument, which to me, because people don't want to deal in the realm of sense, of common sense. I know that things happen. I didn't plan to have my daughter. It wasn't a plan.
Yes, you did.
Her father planned, but I didn't plan that. So I get it. A lot of things are unplanned.
But you deal with it.
In order to not have that situation, there's things you can do. I mean, come on, we've all been to sex ed, and
right. There's other holes. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm trying to be serious, but I'm just saying there's other things you can do. I mean.
Well, everybody ain't no 3-holer like your women were. Okay.
Hey,
some people just 1 hole.
That was called pro. I went pro. I didn't stay in the semi. I went straight to the pros. But anyway.
So anyway, there are things you can do, and I don't want to sound like Dr. Ruth or nothing like that. What happened to Dr. Ruth anyway? Anyway.
Oh, you mean
the sex? Dr. Ruth.
She died finally.
She finally died.
Yeah, she finally passed.
Well, damn. R.I.P. Dr. Ruth. But you can abstain.
Nope, can't do that. Feeling's too good. Flesh's too strong.
You can do use protection. I know it's not 100%.
No, but I did. But his condom broke. Ladies, you got to do your own, and he's got to do his own. I tell my son that all the time.
Yes, it is a two-way street. I totally agree that it's a two-way street.
The statistics of ever getting pregnant.
So the point that I'm making is, without going through the whole realm of stuff you can do not to become pregnant, there's stuff you can do.
Right.
And so, like I said, if you look at the numbers of statistically speaking, to jack that up.
Statistically.
A lot of women don't have abortions because of rape. Or incest.
Right.
It's just because I don't want to be a mom, or I don't want another kid, or
especially with what's going on in our community. And I can only speak for our community. As fathers, as men in our community, we have to stop putting fear in these girls' heads to where you're going to ruin your life if you have a baby out of wedlock. I'm not, you know what I mean? There's different circumstances.
Oh, no, absolutely.
But a lot of these things happen out of fear.
Well,
real quick. I have a lot of female friends. Now, I'm not going to say all of them have done it, but I'd say at least half of them have had an abortion sometime in their life.
You see all the celebrities who have come forward, which to me is so stupid. Yeah. I've had an abortion, all these abortions. I'm like, some things you really should just keep to yourself.
Yeah.
Because great, you had an abortion or not great or whatever. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I don't care what nobody says. This is just me. These are humans that are being murdered. And like I said, I can understand if the scales were actually turned that the majority of people who are aborting babies due to rape. It's not. It's actually on the other side, and the majority of women who are having abortions is because they don't want to be pregnant, or they, now's not the time, a financial reason. And this is what I was going to say too, as far as in the Black community. So I'm going to concede that I understand. Okay. I understand because a lot of people don't have babies really out of economic situations. Just can't afford it. Well, they can't afford it. And so we know that in the Black community, we have about $1.3 trillion that we have come in annually. And we give 97% of that away. And so instead of creating businesses, buying Black, and all the group economic things that Dr. Claude Anderson and a whole host of people have told us to do, we don't keep our money. And so I can't hire so-and-so's boyfriend or husband that's gotten her pregnant so that he can go to work and sustain for the family, provide for the family. More than likely, and I hate to say it, he's not going to stick around, especially if he doesn't have a job already. He was just having a good time. And I'm not saying he's not at fault. He is. He is. So he doesn't stick around. The mom has the baby. And so she's like, well, dang, this Negro done took off. I ain't got no job. And so I'm just going to go because, you know, if you have, and it says too that a lot of public funds, what it used to be, because it sounds like they changed it, were used to for people to have abortions through like Medicaid and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they stopped at the federal levels and stuff.
Yeah. So if you had, you know, medical coverage, Medicare or whatever, you just go down there and, you know, get rid of the baby per se. And so that's why I would like to admonish us as Black people that in order for us to keep these children and to grow the population, we are going to have to start practicing group economics. That's not, until we start doing that, we're going to have more babies be aborted. It's just a fact. You know, especially if you're a young woman, maybe you have other kids and then you get pregnant, whatever, or whatever, you and your man get pregnant, and you can't, you know, see how you're going to take care of this child.
Should have thought about
that. It said roughly abortions cost about $500 to for the procedure. You know, and a lot of it is on public funds, or it used to be anyway. I don't know if they're still doing it. So it's not relatively expensive.
But should it be done on, you know what I mean? It's like, why are you... This is a rough subject. And I'm going to tell you, for some of the women that I've talked to, some of my girlfriends that I've talked to that have gone through this procedure, they never forget it. It's something that you just never forget. And
but then again, some people do. I mean, especially some people who, you know, go in, oh shit, I got pregnant again. Boom, girl, can you give me a ride to the clinic? You know, some people it is just, you know, because you think about somebody who doesn't think that the baby or the fetus
tissue.
Yeah, they think that's so, you know, I'm not arguing whether it is or not, because I don't have the medical, you know, research to tell me any of that. I just take your word for it. But a lot of people don't see the baby, the life that's forming as a human, I guess, if you will, or a baby or a life, I guess. So some people don't have a problem with that.
You know, it's just I see some, you know, young women that have gone through, even when I was in the, you know, the military, and have to do some counseling and looking at their options, and I would just be like, why didn't you think of all this before? You know what I mean? Well, you know, we were using condom, but what did you do? And then, you know, for the guys, a lot of women don't even think about this. Some of us guys, we're not all shitbags, okay? Some of us want our babies.
Just you. I'm just playing.
So some of us want our babies. I mean, what about our input? Some women will abort the baby just so the father or the father's people can't have the baby, even though she's not ready to have it.
I just want to caution you, brother. Good. You treading on dangerous ground.
No, I know I am, but what I'm saying is, I gotta.
No, I listen. You preach it to the choir.
No, I'm just, you know, I gotta speak up for, you know, for the men's side. I'm just saying, you got some women out here who would rather abort than let that man take the child.
And this is where I agree with you. So write this down on today. I agree with you.
Dang.
And that. So women say, it's my body, I have the right to choose, which is true. I'm not saying it's not. But then, you know, she also, you made the decision as a man for yourself when you slept with her, but let's say you do want the baby. Oh, well, no, I'm not going to have it because it's my body. You can't make me have the baby. I'm going to get rid of it. There's nothing you can do.
Exactly.
But then on the flip side, let's say you are, you know, pro-abortion. Well, you know what, honey, right now I'm not really ready to be no dad.
You make me dad anyway.
I want to take you to the clinic. It's my body, and I do what I want. And then, of course, you know, that comes along with child support, which, again, is your fault because you shouldn't have got in the way of getting her pregnant, if you will. But so she has all this control, which to me, this is more an admonishment for the men.
Absolutely.
Because knowing that she has all this control, which she totally 100% does, as my favorite girl, one of them, Judge Maybelline Ephraim says, look deep before you leap.
Yep.
Look deep before you plant your seed in this woman who may or may not be. See, that's the other thing, too. This is where the responsibility argument comes in.
Okay, I got a rebuttal for it, but go ahead.
Yeah, this is the responsibility. Stop laying down with people you don't think.
I'm waiting for you.
Stop laying down with people that you couldn't see being your baby mama.
Right.
Or you took it a step further than I did. A rifle step. Somebody you couldn't see marrying and making this woman, as the old people say, an honest woman. Mm-hmm. Giving this child a 2-parent home. Don't lay down with somebody. Like a lot of people sleep together and don't even have that conversation. Right. It doesn't even cross my mind. Well, me and Betty Jean, because that's the first name that came to mind, and we about to get into bed. Mm-hmm. But before we do, what I want to make Betty Jean my wife. If she becomes pregnant. Mm-hmm. People don't even think that. They just pull the drawers off and just get knee deep.
Well, you got to understand this, see, and I agree with you. But see, what a lot of people keep, okay, we talk about the woman's body, let's talk about the man's body.
Let's talk about that.
What you women don't understand is, when men have sex, our minds go completely blank.
Whose fault is that?
That's the way we were made. That's the way we were made. So, at that time, we were in a zone. We don't think about anything other than, getting that thing.
And then when that thing plants itself and becomes a seed, and then the rest is a history 18 plus 21 years later.
But what I'm saying is, so since you guys have all this power, and you know that that's the time that we're most vulnerable.
Nah, son.
But, okay, in all seriousness, let me ask you this. Why is it that a woman could abort, and that's her body, whatever the deal is, and that's not considered murder, but I can kill, let's say, it's under the same pretense. Heartbeat, it's a fully formed person. She's never charged with murder, but if I did the same thing to a person who has the same attributes, I'm charged with murder and I gotta go to jail for the rest of my life.
Well, because the law says that that's not murder, because I guess, like I said, part of the 14th Amendment, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it's a person's right to privacy or something along with their person or something. So it's her body, and I guess technically speaking, the baby is still part of her body.
But it's also a part of my body.
Well, it's in her body, though. I think that's where the technical difficulties come in for you.
Half of the child is still mine.
Listen, I'm not disagreeing with that.
I mean, I look at Deanna and I see half of you and I see half of Mr. Moses.
Right, unfortunately. I'm just playing. No, so I get it. I'm not, but that's the way it is. Right. And so you also hear this argument. I got to scratch my afro. Oh, Lord. You also hear this argument of, well, I went to the doctor and they wouldn't tie my tubes. Mm-hmm. Which is true. A lot of times the doctors will say you're too young.
Yeah, you're too young.
You sure? Right. I think like around the age of 26 or so, they kind of start saying, okay, plus you got some more kids.
Yeah, they want you to have a few kids.
Yeah, so they just want to make sure it's, because it's hard to reverse sometimes.
Right, but that's also to ensure population growth.
I get it. Yeah. Listen, I get it. So then you have that argument, well, what about these doctors that won't tie the women's tubes and blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's say you don't never find a doctor to tie your tubes. That still doesn't mean you should go willy-nilly, jumping off in the sack with Willie, and coming up pregnant. I mean, those things are still in your control, because I hate to hear, I'm one of those people, I'm ready to have that argument. I'm one of those people that hate to hear, especially women say, well, it's my body, I have the right, and that's my responsibility, I have the right to choose, blah, blah, blah. But you mean you got to tell me you got all these rights, but you don't have the sense to not get pregnant? You know what I'm saying? You in control of your body, except for when you lay down and get pregnant.
Right.
Then that's when you want everybody else to be responsible. So
so by your stance, are you pro-life or are you?
I tend to lean more toward being pro-life. That's just me.
Do you believe in the death penalty?
No.
Then you're pro-life.
Yeah, I don't believe in the death penalty. But see, to me, there's, I operate in the gray. I just one of those people. I believe in the death penalty when it's 100% without a doubt proven that this person is, did the crime to warrant the murder. So let's see, we have a comment here that says, I had to wait until I was 30 to have my hysterectomy. I waited a couple of weeks after my 30th birthday. And yeah, so that's true. I've heard a lot of women, when they're trying to go get their tubes tied or they needed a hysterectomy or whatever. Because, our pipes, if you will, our insides, our uterus and stuff do weird things a lot. Like my mom and my sister, they had a hysterectomy.
Yes, your sister had hysterectomy. Yes.
That was fairly young.
I'm going to enjoy myself thoroughly.
But I've had some reproductive issues that I haven't had to go get a hysterectomy. Luckily I was able to get it fixed. And so, but yeah, so I've heard that argument of a lot of people saying they went to the doctor and the doctor tried to talk them out of it, this, that, and the other. Even though they've had kids, but because of the age or whatever.
Yeah, my ex-wife had a hysterectomy.
Yeah, so the point that I'm making though is, let's say that they don't give you, you know, the tire tubes or whatever the case is. At least exercise some control or restraint or responsibility up until that time. You know what I'm saying? Because as I said, you can't argue that I'm in control of my body, and then when you lose control of your body by getting pregnant, and then you talk about, well, everybody, you know, it's everybody else's responsibility, and no, I mean, it doesn't. You can't have both.
Both ways can't be both ways, but a lot of women want it both ways. But so with these. What do you think? See, now, I kind of, you know, I'm pro-life. I don't believe in abortion of any kind. I don't believe in the death penalty.
What about rape? In the chance of rape?
I don't believe in any kind of abortion.
So if a woman is raped, you believe that she should be...
No, that's her decision. What I'm saying is the decision was for me.
Got it.
And it fell on me. I'm not going to make that. I'm pro-life.
Okay, but
which is kind of an oxymoron being in the military.
Yeah, right. How many bombs you done dropped on people?
Exactly. Okay.
Ain't that weird? That's always the warmongers talking about they pro-life.
Yes, I've always been like that because it's just, you know, we're supposed to be civilized people here, so I try to be civilized.
You know, I just asked my daughter the other day, because, you know, you hear about all these celebrities and people talking about all the abortions and shit they done had. And I'm like, when do we become a society to where we glorify this kind of stuff? And I get it. They're doing it, you know, to say that women should have the right to choose. But it's all, to me, it's really a morbid. Like, God.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and like
we're
I said,
talking about this stuff. Like, that used to be... Like, I ain't gonna talk with you. There's some shit we ain't gonna talk about.
Well, the thing is, like I said, half of the girlfriends that I know that have gone through it, mentally, I'm not saying they're off, but there's something missing because they're always going back to...
Well, have they had multiples?
Well, I don't know. But let me just say this. Mm-hmm. When my ex and I were blessed to be pregnant with my youngest that just graduated Hampton, this kid is 21 years old, we had that conversation. About abortion. I mean, you know, let's just keep it real. You're going to have that, if you're with a real man and you're going to have that conversation. It's going to come up. Like, what do? We weren't, you know, together, you know, we weren't in a marriage institution where we have our different careers. I'm doing a different thing. I'm going to war. You know, these conversations are going to come up. And, you know, this is real life shit here. And, you know, that conversation comes up and I look back on that just from the time talking to her 20-something years ago. When I saw my son walking and getting his diploma, that actually crossed my mind.
Right.
Even though she did the right thing, and I told her my reasons of why she shouldn't, you know, and we gave our pluses and minuses in there, so that, but the final decision was hers. Of course, I wasn't giving her any money to do anything, not on my hands. Right. But she made the right decision, and you know, if I'm thinking about that as a man, 21 years later, even though she didn't do it, imagine the women that have done it and are probably saying, "Wow, man." But there are some heartless bitches out there too.
Well, you know, and that's a great argument because I've heard that a lot. You know, what if we or you, whoever, you know, are what if like the scientist to cure AIDS was aborted? Right. You know, how do we know that hasn't been done? You know. But then the other side of the argument is how you know we ain't, you know, aborting Charlie Manson and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like this. Yeah. We have all these arguments, but for me, I just like us as, you know, Black people, especially to really, really think about what we're advocating for. Because I don't know if you guys realize it or not, but Black people, it's going to be a point to where we really start to disappear.
We are disappearing.
We're starting to disappear. I mean, it's like 40-something million of us. It's a lot of people.
Yeah, but compared to the other races stagnant here, we are very stagnant, and the Asians are starting to catch us.
Asians are at 8% of the population. Back, 30 years ago, maybe 20, 30 years?
They weren't even a percent.
They weren't even a percent. Now they're 8% of the population. They are, 6% away from catching us. And that number, you know, could depend on what you classify yourself. It includes multiracial. So if you're just talking about, I mean, hell, they all Black to me. But a lot of people like to make the difference. If you're talking about just strict Black people, if you will, it's the numbers are even less than that. Right. And so, to your point, I mean, everybody else they're passing us, and we're just kind of hovering. But to me, and I'm nor a Democrat or Republican, but we, as Black people, typically go with the Democrat talking points, and we know Democrats are pro-choice and all of that. But it's like we got to start thinking about the things that we listen to and really start to dissect these things.
You know, what I think we should start doing is doing, and I know people say you watch too many movies, but if you watch the reconditioned Battlestar Galactica, when the population, the human race was reduced, what was the first thing that they had to do? They had to start making babies to repopulate. And here's my thing. In a so-called democracy, one person, one vote, even though they're trying hard to change that.
Right.
But right now, it's still one person, one vote, popular vote, whatever, at local level, whatever. If we're not being repopulated, we don't have much of a say.
But that's, again, that goes into us not really dissecting what we're hearing. We're hearing, oh, it's just a woman's right to choose, and it is. Listen, because I don't want to get into that. Like I said, I'm a woman. I don't want nobody, to choose it for me. But it's bigger than that. Yeah. It is bigger than that. Why you guys think, look at the Hispanics. They have their abortion rate is kind of on the high side,
yeah, it is too. But
they
even today in California, the average Hispanic has 4 children.
They populated, and that was by design.
Yes, regardless if they can afford it or not.
We are taking America back by overpopulating, and now what have they done? California is predominantly Hispanic. You can't go nowhere.
California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Nevada.
What happened to that?
Used to be Mexico.
Theirs. And they said this. They were going to overpopulate and take it back. I mean, there's at least twice a week, as God is my witness, you've probably seen it too, I see a truck, whatever.
Selling ice cream.
With a big flag, a Mexico flag, waving out of the back. Yeah. And I'm like, I guess.
Yeah,
but they're doing that in America.
Yeah, I never understood that. You're in another country and you're waving your flag.
Because they are now, especially in California, the majority. Right. Like I said to you the other day, I went to CVS downtown. It said CVS EMAS.
Right.
I said, what's EMAS? And Deanna said it says and more. So they're catering to, like you've been to Mexico before. I've been to Mexico. That to me, that's what it's starting to look like. See the stores where it's in in Spanish and all that and the other. I mean, so they get it. They understand that we need to have as many kids as we can.
Well, they better get this. For those that are listening to the podcast, I just pulled out my gun.
You've been watching on this video. That thing that you just saw is not mine. Got nothing to do with me. I didn't even know each Negro was bringing it out. I plead the 5th, 4th, the 15th, whatever the amendments was.
Hey, mine is legal. I'm a military guy. Mine is legal. So
I ain't threatening to shoot nobody.
No, I'm just saying.
Now I'm cooning. I ain't shooting. I ain't saying I shoot nobody.
No, what I'm saying is, if you come into my house, because like I said, my neighborhood is now mostly Hispanic. It used to be a white neighborhood. It's mostly Hispanic now. If you come into my house without a good reason, we're going to have a few problems.
I just want some sugar. Damn.
We'll knock on the damn door. Don't come to the window.
We don't have it in Mexico. We don't knock. We just come on in.
Yeah, you're going to have a problem here. So, but I think that, personally, I think that what they're doing in the South and making all these, because notice how they're coming all that. This is what the Democrats have forgotten. They kept us distracted at the national level. The Republicans have been getting state houses. And now they're doing this now to challenge. They got their people up in the Supreme Court, stuff like that. It's the perfect storm now.
Well, because that's what they're saying too. It's kind of iffy with the Supreme Court because Justice Roberts,
Chief Justice.
Yes. He's kind of on the fence, even though he's a Republican. Yeah. They say that he doesn't just rush into the other ones like Clarence Thomas and Kavanaugh now.
Yeah, Clarence Thomas is
close. Because they technically they have a majority, I guess, so they need only 5 votes for it to pass. But so they said that Justice Roberts
is the clinging vote.
Yeah, he's the kind of one that can swing it either way.
But I can see Chief Justice Roberts, though, being the Chief Justice, he's looking at his legacy and how he's going to be looked at.
Right. So that's where they're.
And I think he has daughters.
That's where the hope is.
Yeah, and I think he has daughters. So that makes sense. But what I'm saying is, though, the Democrats have kept us distracted. We have hurt ourselves by not populating.
And can I say this? I could be wrong in my observation of things. But who ultimately put Trump in office? Ultimately.
White women.
White women. White women, ultimately, they lied to their husbands and whoever talking about, oh no, I'm with her. And they took their ass in the booth and got with him. You know? And so now you have Trump who's appointed all these, you know, right wing.
Wait, stop. The Democrats went right along with McConnell denying Obama
but I'm saying this. Because a lot of people want to blame black people for Trump getting in office. Okay? Or you know, when Stacey Abrams was running and all, they blame us, you know, for not really helping her get in there.
She's going to be a governor. That ain't going to change.
Well, I know, but I'm saying this is the argument that we have, that black people, you know, didn't show up, and so it's kind of our fault, per se. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
And so now, because these white women, you know, they're loyal. They should be loyal. Be loyal to your people.
Right.
But don't complain when all these white men get up there and make decisions around your coochie.
Right. Now they're making decisions on your coochie.
I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you could have stopped that, but you didn't do it. And so now, once again, you want to drag black people in this argument to help you. And then once you get your way, just like feminism, you use black women to go stick it to your man that you go to him at night, and you make that nasty ass casserole for him. You want to use us to stick it to your man, casserole. Right? With no salt, seasoning, Lowry's, none of that. You want to help us. You want to. Man, and we the only, as you know, Shahrazad Ali said, the only dummies that fell for it. Thinking we, you know, like she said, we didn't have no problem with our men.
Right.
You know, but here we are again, gonna get into the abortion debate. Oh, you know, it's not right. Nah, those white women could have stopped that shit if they wanted to, but they did.
Well, do you like your girl Alyssa Milano go on a sex strike?
Let's see how long that works. You know, and then Jonelle Monáe, with her, she likes women. I almost said something that would probably got me in trouble.
She's a carpet muncher. That's okay.
I didn't say that.
Yeah,
she's a lesbian.
Yeah.
If I want to be technically.
What a waste. She has a nice body.
She's a lesbian. She's telling people to abstain from having sex with men.
Huh?
She said that.
Hey, that would hurt me.
What's she saying? Telling women not to have sex?
I know, that would hurt me.
But I'm saying she ain't having sex with no man. Talk about some stuff you do.
Yeah.
Because you gonna go tonight and lay down with your woman and talk about telling everybody else don't be having sex with no man. Girl, sit down some damn where.
Get that ice device over there, man. Plug it in here.
I mean, I'm just saying, so to me, as they say, it's taboo.
Yeah. You
shouldn't discuss these things. I don't know if you got a message now, but you shouldn't discuss these things because it leads to a whole bunch of argument. But these are conversations we need to have, especially as black people, and ask ourselves, is this harming or hurting or helping us? I say it's hurting us. We need to have all the babies we can. I can't have no more babies. Yes. Okay? I don't know if I would.
That ain't gonna stop Al from trying.
That's the fun. Trying is the fun part, right? That's the fun part.
Right.
But I'm just saying, we need to, and to your point, we need to stop pumping fear in our kids.
No, and the girls.
Yeah,
you gotta stop it. You ruined your life.
You ruined it, because it's great people who've had children and become something great.
Absolutely. At my son's graduation, a third of the women, it was Mother's Day, of the graduates were mothers on the undergraduate class.
Well, you know, but a lot of those women are probably older too. You know, that makes the assumption that everybody came out of high school. No,
they're like in their 22, 21.
Yeah, some 30, 40, 50, probably 80, 90, you know. But, so yeah, I mean, this is like a wide open conversation / argument, depending on how you look at it. But I think we really need to start looking at those things and stop, as we say, believing the hype of what everybody tells us. Like, I did the research, you know. I'm not saying that it's all right, but from what I can see, the arguments that we're hearing, it's not necessarily the case. Right. It's not the overwhelming case, I guess I should say.
Right, and we're not saying go out there willy-nilly slinging dick everywhere and just throwing your cooch out there.
Yeah, you need to stop doing that, Donovan.
Yeah, you know, we're talking about having babies responsibly that you can afford to take care of. Because when you rely on another man to feed you, you ain't free.
And again, this is why I have to admonish you as men, especially black men. I just do, you know. We need to start raising and teaching our boys to be more of a provider, protector, and all that, so that, you know, when these girls do end up pregnant, first of all, teach these men to go and seek a wife and not a baby mama or not just a good time. Yeah, whatever. Seek a wife And that way, you know, you guys stay together. And, you know, we need to, like I said, practice group economics so we can keep the money home and have businesses. You know, we can hire, oh my gosh, Betty Lou got pregnant. Okay, well, you know, such and such got that business over there. He always hiring.
Maybe,
you know?
Maybe we need to legalize prostitution. That would help stop unwanted babies.
I mean, prostitutes get pregnant too.
That's true.
Can you imagine a prostitute being your baby mama?
Right, but what I'm saying is, but what I'm saying is, you know, as we know, you know, you can't be 18 years old and find the love of your life. In all cases, and you're going to be together for 40 years. That might not happen.
Start teaching our young men and women to strive to be husbands and wives and not just to feel good.
I don't need no man to tell me I can do it on my own. No, we need each other.
Well, you can't do it on your own if you're seeking that nigga for child support.
Right. Or
I'm saying it's not on your own if you're doing that. So, I mean, we just need to start teaching those things. And it's like I said, I don't put the onus on you guys. It's everybody's responsibility, but to get rid of that argument, well, shoot, I don't want to be a single mom. Yeah, don't lay down with a woman and make her a single mom. Again, she's participating in making herself a single mom. But don't lay down without asking those questions. Because how many times, I mean, not to throw you out there, but you talk about it all the time. That wasn't the intent with your first child's mom. You guys, it was just a thing.
Yeah, it was a war baby.
Yeah, you guys weren't even together.
We weren't together, yeah.
But you did what you had to do, which doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
On the flip side of that, she could have just been a single mom and, you know, all that other stuff. I say single mom. She was a single woman, not a single mom, because you were there doing your job.
Right.
But, you know, we just need to start asking those questions. Well, you got a big booty, girl. And golly, I'm just paraphrasing for a man, because that's not my thing. Well, and I would love to get with you, but let me sit here and ponder something for a minute. Let me think. You know how Shanae on Martin, when she was... he thinking, do I want to be with this woman? Right. I don't even know her middle name.
Right. Well, remember that meme you sent me with that girl with the big ass?
Yes.
That was just ridiculous. I mean, who would want that?
Somebody want it.
That's ridiculous. You women are starting to look like bumblebees. I mean, that's what it looked like. It's like a big old bumblebee. And these small ass legs.
Like widows.
Yeah, right. I'm thinking, it's like if she sat on the toilet, her ass cheeks would go all the way around the toilet.
It would engulf it.
Yeah, it's just, oh man.
Or are you just less confident that you don't have what you need to get there?
Hey, look, I'm going to be honest. It's going to have to be missionary all the way.
No, because if it's missionary, then she's going to teeter and tie.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't mind a little waving to go on my thing, so... It's just crazy, but that's a very important topic, and we got to start doing that. We have to start populating responsibly.
Responsibly, yes, with the goal of becoming the majority.
Yes.
I mean, that's why I get it. I ain't mad at these white men.
That's the only way we're gonna take over this country.
I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to stay in the majority. I mean, can you fault them for that?
Exactly.
Why are we like they're fighting to live, and we fighting to die?
Exactly.
I don't need to say no more after that. Go ahead.
Exactly.
Take it on.
Hey, you guys, the EFF picked up. They were the only party in South Africa that picked up seats, so they are a force to be reckoned with. Over, they said they got 1 million more votes than they did the last election.
Yeah, they were only slated to get less than 10, and they got almost 12.
The other two major parties lost votes, so that's telling you something really what's going on in Africa.
ANC went below 62% for the first time at 57%.
Right, exactly. So, hey, you guys, but don't forget to tune into Demetra K Show on Sundays, 3 p.m. Facebook Live. She will answer questions, and even Kay will go in there and throw in some questions and answers and do all that other good stuff. And we're back on Tuesdays, so you guys make sure you tune in. Demetra K.
Who are the women who obtain abortions in the United States? You might be surprised. Almost 1 out of every 3 American women will have an abortion by age 45. They come from all walks of life. They are women you know. Most women having abortions are in their 20s. Many people mistakenly believe that teens are the group most likely to have an abortion. Teens actually account for fewer than 2 in 10 of all abortions, and most of them are older teens, those aged 18 and 19. 6 in 10 women having abortions already have a child, and many have 2 or more. They know what it means to be a mother, and they often cite the need to care for their children as a primary reason for deciding not to have another right now. 3 out of 4 women who have abortions describe themselves as religiously affiliated. Catholic women have abortions at about the same rate as women overall. Over the past decade, abortion has become increasingly concentrated among poor women. In 2008, more than 4 in 10 abortion patients had incomes below the federal poverty line. That's a huge increase from a decade ago. White women account for 1 in 3 abortions, more than any other group. However, women of color are disproportionately likely to have an abortion. The reason is that Black and Hispanic women have much higher rates of unintended pregnancy. These trends reflect widespread inequities in other areas, not enough access to contraception and to quality, affordable health care, and not enough educational opportunities and good jobs. These broad social and economic inequities must be addressed, but at a minimum, contraception should be easy to get and use for all. And comprehensive sex education should be available to all adolescents. But while prevention is key, there will always be women who need abortions. That's why abortion is basic health care for women. It should be covered by private insurance plans as well as under public insurance programs such as Medicaid. Covering abortion under Medicaid is critical to help the poorest, most vulnerable women pay for their procedure. Any woman who needs an abortion should be able to have one safely and with dignity.